And so there we go. And now it's into the Makani Marketplace. RJ Higgins, art by RJ Higgins. How are you doing there, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing. How can I not be doing good, man? I just was soothed with that amazing music. I've got a nice cocktail in front of me. Got to talk tiki with somebody who, did what we all want to do, travel the country and just hit tiki bars. And now I get to talk to cool artists like you. So I'm doing great, man.
Fantastic.
Love your stuff. I think you've got an amazing eye, but even more importantly, you are recapturing stuff that would have been thrown out on the trash heap.
Yes, sir. Yeah, all of my stuff is reclaim, recycle. Everything I create with.
Yeah, so let's get into some of that. If you can, do you have some that you can share with us?
Sure. Yeah, if you can see just behind my left shoulder there, this guy right here, that is affectionately known as Fluffy. It was a propane tank, and my daughter named it Fluffy for obvious reasons. See if I can get a little better look at him here. I put an Edison bulb in it, and so there you go. You can see all the spines on it, and so the eyes are actually ball bearings, and those were salvaged out of the plant, the Maxwell House coffee plant up in Jacksonville. I got a friend of mine that he works up there in maintenance, and when they throw stuff away, he brings me some of the cool stuff.
Nice to have friends like that brings you the raw goods to make your art.
Well, that's how I get everything done. I've got a lot of the sheet metal pieces I do, for instance. Let's see if I can kind of pan down here. There's a seahorse there on the floor. That pieces like that are cut out of stainless steel and sheet metal from air conditioning units, HVAC equipment.
So now what got you started, or at the point where you said, I'm going to take this junk, this trash that people are throwing away, and I'm going to make art out of it?
So it's a pretty long journey, but so 2010 in October, I had an ATV accident. But prior to that, I was working as a manager for an industrial company. We did a lot of machines for sawmills and paper mills and things like that out in Oregon. And I had a four-wheeler accident that I ended up breaking C1, 2, 3, and burst C4. I was paralyzed from the neck down.
Wow.
Yeah, I was never supposed to walk again. They left a whole lot of gloom and doom. And my wife and I decided that that wasn't the life we'd planned on. So we've been fighting and kicking and screaming the whole way. And I'm walking now if I look at my feet, but I can't feel them. So it's kind of a challenge. I can't walk and talk at the same time. And I used to be right-handed, so I needed to learn how to be left-handed. So I started to draw and essentially just learning how to hold a pencil, and it's went from there.
So yeah, a very inspirational story. I did see some of that on the website. So thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. I mean, your art's amazing to begin with, but to know your backstory and what you've overcome to get to this point makes it even more incredible.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a journey. I never thought I would be doing this, and it's all been, it was not planned. And one of the drawings that I did, I drew a pen and ink drawing of a baby sea turtle. It took me like 40 hours. And I showed it to a friend of mine, and she said, well, I want it. So I was like, okay, you can have it. She's like, no, I want to buy it. And I'm like, I have no idea why, just take it. And she's like, no, you need to share this with the world. So that was kind of the catalyst that got it started. And I went and spoke to some people at a local farmer's market, and kind of had an in there, and somehow I got in. And my first booth was pretty anemic. I only had a few pieces, but it seemed to strike a right chord, and I just kept going with it. And if you really go back into my Instagram feed and look at the early works, you can see that the transition, the evolution, so to speak, of where I started and how I got to this point. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And I love Fluffy. That's amazing. What else do you have there? Because one of the first things I noticed on your Instagram post was that you're reclaiming old fencing and turning them into just some incredible wall art.
Yeah, that to me, it was always kind of a bummer. You see these huge piles out by the street and they're getting picked up and they're just going to end up getting dumped in the dump or burned. And it's like, it got so much character in it. I've painted on canvas, and canvas is so sterile. It seems to lack character, no soul. But this stuff has, well, so I'm working on this mermaid piece. There's a glare on it, but so, and that's on an old fence. And then I've got this guy here. So I've got a big
Oh my
sailfish that I've been working on.
gosh.
And then let's see if I can spin around enough here. And if you look down behind me, you see that chubby little whale there?
Uh-huh.
So that was a fence. So, and actually about 3 weeks ago, it was actually a standing fence. So he just came down pretty recently.
So now how do you determine, I mean, I'll ask the carvers, do you see it in the wood, or do you see it in your head first? And you're kind of talking the same thing, that the materials have a bit of a personality. So I'll ask you the same. I mean, does the wood tell you what it's going to be, or do you have something in mind?
Most of the time, there's something within that piece of wood that kind of leads me one way or another. For instance, the big chubby whale that's on the floor, there's a split where the sap line in that piece of wood right at its mouth. And I picked up that slat and I was like, that's going to be a mouth for something. And as I started shifting the boards around, it just kind of came all full circle. It's like, yep, we're all going to fit together just like this. And that's the fellow that popped up.
That is amazing. So I've noticed that on your site, there are a lot of things that go fast. Your art's going fast, which I can imagine. How long does it take you to put something together, and from start to finish, like the whale or the mermaid?
So that mermaid I'm working on, that lady's been on hang on, let me hold it steady here. I got one hand and it's not working real great.
Oh, we're
right,
good.
We go.
Man.
All right, so the mermaid I've been working on now for probably 6 months, and my hang up is the face. And I have painted on a separate piece of wood so that I don't screw up this primary piece, probably upwards of 40 faces. And I think I've got it dialed in, so I'm going to go ahead and probably take that experience and transfer it to this. But at any given point, I have between 6 and maybe a dozen pieces going at the same time. And a lot of that is waiting for paint to dry, or if I'm working on a metal piece, I have to let it cool down because I can't feel hot or cold with my hands. And actually, I probably should have told you this part too. I can't feel anything in the hand that I use. So
Really?
Yeah, so in order to use it, I have to look at it. So I have to, when I'm welding or using a torch or any of those things, I can't wear gloves because I have to physically see my hand or I'll let go. So when it's really hot, I have to let it all sit and cool off, and then I'll move on to do something else. It's a real weird world I live in, man.
I'm still trying to grasp. You are working with welding tools, and yeah, that is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well, the reality is, man, we're all going to meet the same end, and you can go kicking and screaming into the dark, or you can sit around and wait for it. I got a lot to give this world, so I'm just going to keep rolling. And when I'm done, as someone that has come into my booth told me, when I'm done, I'm not getting my deposit back. So I'm going to run the wheels off of it.
Well, I mean, oh my God. I mean, the art is beautiful and amazing, and your story is very inspirational. As are you, just talking with you and hearing you talk about what you've encountered and how you've turned this now and what you're doing now. It's just amazing. Feels like too light of a word, but it's the only one I can think of. It's incredible.
I get it. It's a pretty powerful thing. I spend my Saturdays at the farmers market at the St. Augustine Amphitheater, and I get to meet people from all over the world. And I've met a lot of amazing friends and touched a lot of people. The one story that I like to share real quick, if you don't mind, is I had a woman come in that she said that she was an artist, but she had to give it up because she's got early onset MS. And I'm not really known for my bedside manner. And I just kind of looked at her and kind of said, so, and she went, well, I shake now and I can't do it. And I said, no, you can't do it the way you used to. I said, but you can still do it. You're just going to have to work within the parameters you're being given now. I said, maybe you'll find a new path. Maybe you'll find a new style that really that gives you a spark, but you won't know if you just give up.
Yeah.
And she cried, and I gave her a big hug and went on her way. And then about 2 weeks later, this woman walked in the booth and she's like, I've been looking for you. And I was like, oh crap. What's going on? And she said, you spoke to my mother, and she's back in the studio again. And to me, that was like, yeah, that's fantastic. It was totally worth it. That just made me smile, and it made me feel like, you know what, I made an impact in this world. So I'm happy.
Well, absolutely phenomenal. And it's great that you're touching people in that way. And it's, yeah, I'm blown away. I'm at a loss for words. Rarely am I at a loss for words on this show, but I'm at a total loss for words. So thank you. We have all your information in the Instagram for chat, in the chat for your Instagram. Go out to the page. I mean, there's some incredible stuff there. And knowing now some of the things that it's even more incredible. But I have to say, my first view at it, not knowing the backstory, I was blown away. I thought it's incredible art. I was very depressed about the fact that your octopus boards were all sold out. Every time I see it's like, oh my God, I want, oh, nope, sold out. Oh my God, I want, oh, nope, sold out. So hopefully there's more octopus in your future.
Actually, I've got two that are in the works right now. But the other thing that I'm working on, I haven't really kept up the website because of the shipping aspect of it, because everything's a one-off. So right. Trying to calculate and factor shipping. I mean, I've shipped things all the way as far away as Australia and Costa Rica and all over the country. And the shipping, it varies wildly, as you can imagine. But I think over the past 3 or 4 months, we've been doing a lot of research, and I think we got it figured out. So I should be basically unveiling the new website in the next probably 3 or 4 weeks. And that'll have a point of sale option on it, as opposed to just a curated kind of gallery as I've got now. So yeah, and I try to post things every couple of days, works in progress. And if you see something you like as a work in progress, you probably should jump on it, because a lot of times they sell before I even get them finished. It's amazing. Yeah. I love it. Everybody tells me I need to charge more, but I'm not doing it to collect it. This is my therapy. So I find a tremendous amount of joy in just getting it out there, and the joy that the people that give it to me. So.
Well, I think you can sell it for twice as much, but just do it after I buy my stuff.
Duly noted. Duly noted.
So what about commission work? Are people able to reach out to you and say, hey, I've got a space, I need something to come into it? Do you do things like that?
I do, but I'm usually pretty careful about it. If you're going to get real technical about, real specific, then I probably won't do it, because how do I put this? If you want your artwork on the wall, then you should do it. If you want an artist to do it, you should. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but that's kind of how it goes. But the other thing is that with my hands the way they are, you can tell me exactly what you want, but I'm only going to be able to do what these guys are going to let me do.
Yeah, no, I learned a long time ago, and I would put this out for everyone. You find an artist, you love their work, don't micromanage them. Just say, hey, here's an idea, or here's a space that I have. I kind of like octopuses. What would you do? Let it go with that. I mean, because you've got the vision, and you've got it. I could never tell you what to paint or how to paint it. That's for sure.
My favorite customers, my favorite clients are the ones that say, I have this space, these are the dimensions, this is the color palette I'd like it to work within, and this is the species or object I would like you to create. And typically, if unless there's like something very specific in it, like an address or something specific to that home or your family, I don't even charge a commission up front or a deposit. The reason being is that way, if you don't like it, there's no hard feelings. I'll sell it to somebody else. And it's not awkward, like I have to transfer money back or anything like that. So it's just a smoother process. That way you get, at the end of it, when I get done, you get first right of refusal. And if you like it, great, cheers. If you don't, no harm, no foul. I was painting anyway, so I get to sell to somebody else.
Well, I gotta tell you, I was a fan when I saw your page. I'm even a bigger fan now. So love to see what you're doing. I would say keep doing what you're doing, but just talking to you, you were already going to do that anyways. So that's great, man. Thank you for sharing your art and your story. Definitely appreciate that.
Man, I really appreciate it. It was a great chatting with you. This is a cool page, man. That's the music, the mocktails. This is all pretty cool, man.
Oh
I
yeah,
dig it.
we have a great time. And man, Martini on the Beach, holy cow. When we had them on the very first time, it's like, okay, we're gonna have a DJ, and they just hit out of the park. Everybody's just like, whoa, what are we listening to? This is amazing. And third time on, still just top notch. So yeah, thank you. Definitely appreciate it. Very much love having you on. Thank you, RJ. We've got all of your information in the chat window. Go out there, check out the art, buy some art. And if you're ever down in St. Augustine, make sure to swing by that farmer's market to meet RJ in person. I somehow have a feeling that would be a very incredible experience. So thank you for joining us tonight.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much for having me.